Hey, something I was thinking about, another one of the hypocrisies or failures of Christianity. How is it that Christians can credibly say anything about the way God influences them? They say, oh, I got faith, it's a gift. I felt a prompting to do this. I felt I should do this. I felt God was pointing me to marry this person. Bullshit. God wanted you to fuck someone. Who the fuck cares who you fuck, you dumbass? But if any of that were true, this creates a huge, huge problem, a huge hole that they need to explain. Because if they believe God is capable of influencing their minds, that means there must be some interaction between this invisible, imperceptible force, God, and their brain cells and the rest of their body. So what is that effect and that influence, and why can't we seem to detect it or measure it or understand its effect on us? Why wouldn't it be as clear as the effect of anything else, of atmospheric pressure, of magnetism, of gravity, of the rotation of the earth, of our digestive system, of the electrical impulses in our brains? Why wouldn't this be clear? Oh, God's affecting this person. We can see it in the MRI. So for all this lofty talk, it's so funny. Nobody ever thought to explain this in early Christian history. I mean, I'm sure there have been vain attempts, like all the bullshit they make up. But what is the possible explanation for how God, I mean, they talk about their God, oh, this is the highest thing you can aspire to. It's so great. But what are they really saying? All they're saying is some invisible force interacts with your brain cells to create certain brain states to get you to feel a certain way. But it's so funny. Christians are all mixed up about that. They can never get it straight. They'll say, oh, faith in God, it's a feeling. Then they say it's not a feeling. It's a choice. But others say, no, it's not a choice, because you can't make that choice, because you're never worthy of it. So God must give it to you. So there's nothing you can do for it. But if there's nothing you can do for it, what do you do? Shame on you, Christians. Shame on you for spreading lies. And the worst part of this, to me, is indoctrinating children in this. Every one of you act like you've got something that's so important, like this is this mysterious thing. Why do you all need buildings, by the way? That's so funny. You have this all-powerful force in the universe, so what the fuck do you need a building to go into for? In order to obey it, to whatever you call a church service. Everybody has their own idea of what it means. Why the need for buildings? Why not be able to do it anywhere? What's the difference of being able to, whatever it is you say you're doing in church, of obeying God, of whatever? It doesn't make any sense, so I won't even put words to something that there are no words for. It's nonsense. And for all this talk of, oh, this is, these are higher values and stuff we aspire to, what are they really saying? They're saying theirs is a religion that, first of all, you need water and a few words said over you while the water is put on you. Otherwise, you'll never be able to be entered into it, which is weird for something that supposedly, isn't God all-powerful? What's the need for the baptism? For having water and some words said on you? Doesn't make sense. And different religions say, oh yeah, the other ones, even though they're a false religion, their baptism's still valid. Huh? You can't even get your motherfucker's story straight. So an all-powerful God needs you have a little bullshit, a little water put on you and say a few words before you can actually be a Christian. Otherwise, you just can't. It's impossible. You can't. Doesn't matter. Because you haven't been baptized, so you can't. And apparently, you live your life and God affects your brain states in certain ways to stimulate feelings of adherence to this God. And for some reason, this God never gets this shit straight, because no two people will agree on what Christianity really is. I know they might say they will, but everyone has their little differences, even within each religion, within each group of 5 people, of 2 people, you won't get agreement. And then, what do they say it's all for? What's this amazing ideal that it's so important? You don't understand. Human ways are not God's ways. The earth is profane and mundane, and God is whatever the fuck. They never really make it clear. Yeah, they say eternal. What the fuck does that mean? When they say that God doesn't exist in time, it disgusts me to even say that bullshit that they make up. Are they really saying this is all an aspiration for a future in which you just feel really, really good for a really, really long time after you die? That's it. You'll feel really, really good forever, being enslaved to God. And apparently you'll be a different person, because you will be gone, you'll be dead, and you'll have no more ability to choose anything for yourself. You will be enslaved to praising God forever. And that's it. So how is that really you? You're like a puppet that God takes away from earth and puts away for a while. So how is that not horrifying? If Christians really thought about it, they would be horrified. So I'm more honest than most Christians, because I actually took it seriously, and I was in terror because I was thinking about that all the time for 15 months when I thought I was trying to be a Christian, but I never was. I couldn't. I tried, and I say I tried because I never was, because I actually took it seriously. Christians don't. They fuck who they want, eat what they want, they do what they want. And if you ask them to take this seriously, they're like, oh, no, yeah, I believe in it, but God, that's too much work. No, God's not worth that much trouble. Jeez, we got to be practical. You know, God made a world where we just got to be practical and where it looks just like he doesn't exist. Willing to indoctrinate kids. Everything you do is wrong. Everything you do is dirty. No, that other religion's wrong. That other religion doesn't have it right. We do. Oh, and by the way, if you have one wrong thought, one impure thought, you're going to be tortured in hell forever. You're going to feel really, really bad for a really long time. That's the best our fucker God could come up with. You fucking dumbasses. How much more obviously could this have been made by people, specifically a bunch of men who hated sex and hated women?